The underground laboratory was quiet, too quiet. Hey, hum of the cooling systems and the faint buzz of fluorescent lights were the only signs of life. Linda McKay stood in the middle of the main control room, her pulse pounding. The walls around her gleamed with cold metal, and scattered computer monitors cast bluish glows across her face. She gripped a wrench in her right hand, her knuckles white. Somewhere in the shadows, Sebastian Caine, once the brilliant leader of their scientific project, moved unseen. He was no longer a man in any visible sense. His body had been rendered completely invisible by the experiment, and his mind twisted. Linda's breath quickened. She turned slowly, scanning every corner. Her reflection appeared on a polished console screen, but there was nothing behind her, nothing she could see. Then, a sudden rush of displaced air brushed past her cheek. She spun around. "Sebastian," she said firmly, her voice trembling, "this isn't you. You need to stop." A faint chuckle echoed in the room, deep and mocking. It came from everywhere and nowhere. "You're wrong, Linda," his voice said. "This is me, finally free." A clipboard slid off her desk and clattered to the floor. Linda stepped back, her heartbeat hammering in her ears. She tightened her grip on the wrench. Suddenly, an invisible force shoved her from the side. She stumbled into the wall, her shoulders slamming into a metal pipe. She swung wildly at empty air. The wrench connected with nothing but a gust of warmth, his arm, unseen, retreating. "Stay away from me," she shouted. Sebastian's voice came closer now, right at her ear. "But you always liked danger, didn't you?" In a desperate move, Linda lunged toward the workstation and grabbed a small bottle of thermal tracking spray, a milky white mist used to visualize airflow in experiments. She shook it violently and sprayed into the empty space before her. The mist swirled, and a vague human shape emerged, droplets clinging to invisible skin outlining Sebastian's chest and arms. His eyes, unseen but felt, locked on her. "Clever," he hissed. He charged. Linda dodged, the wrench scraping against a railing. She ducked under a swinging invisible fist and darted toward the glass door that led into the lab hallway. But before she could reach it, an unseen grip seized her wrist and yanked her backward. She screamed, twisting, but Sebastian's strength was overwhelming. His form shimmered with a fading mist, a ghost-like silhouette in the dim light. He pinned her against a control panel, buttons beeping under the pressure. "Why fight it?" he whispered. "You and I could have everything." Linda's free hand found a fire extinguisher mounted to the wall. She slammed the base into the vague outline of his ribs. He grunted but didn't release her. With a sharp pull, she yanked the pin and blasted the extinguisher. A cloud of white frost exploded, coating the invisible body from head to toe. Now, for the first time, she saw him clearly. His face a frozen mask of rage, skin and muscle barely visible through the frost's contour. Her eyes burned with fury. "You're not a man anymore, Sebastian. You're a monster." He lunged again, smashing the extinguisher from her hands. The two of them crashed to the floor, rolling among shattered glass from a fallen monitor. Sparks flickered above as a cable snapped loose. Linda kicked him hard, scrambling to her feet. She raced toward the far side of the lab, grabbing a coil of high-voltage cable. With trembling hands, she stripped the insulation and let the copper end spark menacingly. Sebastian advanced, frost melting, his form becoming harder to track. The spray and ice dripped from his body, leaving only faint, wet footprints on the floor. "You can't hide forever," she shouted. "I don't need to hide," he snarled. He leapt. Linda swung the cable in a wide arc. A blinding crackle of electricity lit the room as the copper touched his wet skin. A scream tore from his throat, ragged, furious, inhuman. His outline flared into brief visibility, every muscle tensed in agony. He collapsed to one knee, gasping. Linda didn't hesitate. She ran past him, her boots splashing through puddles left by the fire extinguisher's runoff. Behind her, Sebastian's laughter echoed again, weaker this time, but still terrifying. "This isn't over, Linda." She burst into the hallway, slamming the lab door shut and locking it from the outside. Her chest heaved, her mind spinning with shock and adrenaline. Inside, Sebastian pounded once on the glass before going silent. The bluish light of the lab flickered ominously. Linda knew the nightmare was far from finished, but for now, she had survived.